Good morning, everyone. Hi, good morning. First of all, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to be here. Great shout out to Zebra for this initiative of bringing the ecosystem together, because there's no other way to do this. I cannot sell knowledge and platforms without tags and hardware. So massive shout out. I think next time, Mark, forget Ibiza, you still need cash to pay there. The beers, take Porto in Portugal, where I am from, and that's where our office is. So I really hope that next year you could join us there. I'm going to talk to you about, the customer experience on how to take a lead to a POC to a pilot, and then a successful pilot that can take you into a rollout. Specifically on inventory with RFID at retail, because we talk a lot of verticals here. I will be specifically talking about this one. This customer that I'm going to talk about, it has 1,000+ stores. We started engaging with them, let's say, 8 years ago. Up to now, they only roll out less than 100 stores. And as Half was saying, this should be easy, right? It should be fast. But it's not. And I think it's because there's some setting of expectations around RFID that quite often they are not matched. I still hear customers asking me, if I do this, I will count all. No. I usually say, this is not plug and play, it's plug and pray. You pray that it works. But in reality, nowadays, this is actually working better because the hardware are great. The tags are amazing, new chips coming up. The platforms are on the cloud. So why it's not flying? Why it's not faster? So that's what I say, from dark to light, RFID. It's amazing. And it's a great title, and I could get maybe 20 more or 50 more, and they all say the same. They are all valid, and we all hear them yesterday and today here too. Because the amount of use cases that you can build on top of RFID, it's simply amazing. So why this is not flying faster? We will get there. Because Rachel mentioned on something quite amazing. And I know why it works fast and well there. RFID at retail is like a flashlight in a dark room. I don't take credit of this subtitle. It was Michael Green who mentioned it on a webinar a few years ago. I messaged him on LinkedIn and said, I'm going to use this. That picture, it's mine. So he mentioned this, and I was like, this is true. If I know I have physical items, what I don't know is where they are. And do I really have that? And the slide that Brent bring up, actually, I think it's a new paradigm in the RFID landscape, because you have the manual stuff, you have the control points, and then you have the last one, which is location, right? So this is really changing. So the questions most customers do or have is like, where do I find my items? So why my stock accuracy, it's 70% or 65% or 80%, So that in 20 years hasn't changed. The stock accuracy, I'm talking about RFID at inventory. Stock accuracy is the core foundation of any RFID project. And it's very clear. If I have 100 items and I don't know where 35 are, my stock accuracy is 65%. So why should I implement broader use cases if I cannot count with all of the universe of my items, right? Why should I implement RFID at the POS, transition doors, smart exits, if I don't know, or if I don't have the right stock accuracy, those 99.999 that everyone wants to achieve. If you have the light to see the problem, solutions become much easier to implement. And this is what RFID brings you. However, you still believe that if you do this, you will count all. No. Plug and play? No. Plug and pray. Said that, this will be the year of RFID, eh? No, but this is going to be the year. Look at this title, eh? It's a great title. It resonates to 2025, right? May 2007. Dear God. This is almost like 20 years. 20 years ago, I was 30. Okay. Item level RFID gaining momentum and not slowing down. 2017. This was when I started with this customer that I'm going to talk to you about. Damn. Oh, this one is classic, eh? And this one too, you know, they were early adopters. Now they are amazing, they are ahead. But they had to, you know, crawl first. This one is like, it's killing me all the time, eh? Because the market, as you know, Ralph was also saying, it's massive. It is. We will be living on a sensorized world. The shoes might have already a sensor, and you even don't know. And the thread tag, it's coming, eh? On the tires too. So why this is not flying? Again, I believe it's because 3 factors. One, it's setting expectations. The expectations are too high on the starting point. You cannot go from A to Z without passing from the others. You cannot roll out 1,000+ stores without having stock accuracy first and build the use case journey with proven data. It's not anymore about having a reader and a tag, and then it reads and it's amazing. No, it's data. And what customers are looking for is actionable data. They want to get data that can give them a sense of urgency to act. As you could see, I use Google Alerts, you know, to get everything about RFID. Still, you know, 2023. Oh, and the CAGR was high. So, again, the technology, it's there. The search for this is very high. It's like a curve like this, but the adoption is very slow. And Ralph mentioned it very well. We need to speed up. Eh? So, this is not there because lack of expectations. It's not a strategic fit. That's why in the hospital is, because they took RFID as a critical system. You didn't mention if it's not working, how it's going to be. Eh? Bless you. Eh? It works. So it's a change management thing. It's not a CRM implementation. It's not a, you know, a POS thing, that mobile POS. And no, it's a change. It's a different beast. And it's so powerful that if you don't start with the right expectations and you build from there, you will lose. So setting expectations, putting this as a strategic thing. The early adopters of RFID put this at their strategic core. RFID is the source of truth. And they don't go away from it. They keep on doing it. Eh? So, you know, when I get customers and they say, look, we would like to go with RFID. So I say, okay, so let's talk. I do discovery calls or discovery meetings. And it's not a PowerPoint meeting. It's a blank paper where I open the talk. So tell me about it. So when you think about RFID, what do you think? What are you expecting for? A common thing. So how is your stock? Do you have overstock? Oh yes, we have massive number of overstock. It's a big problem. So you don't have out of stocks. No, we also have out of stocks. So you have out of stock and you don't have. So can you explore a bit more? Yes, if we have out of stocks, then we ask to produce more. But then once it's ready, we don't sell it enough. So that goes to the next sales season that ladies like a lot, because the price goes down. So markdown pricing. And then if we cannot sell it, I need to ask the CFO more storage space, because that season needs to be parked for the next year. Okay. So you don't control that, because you don't have supply chain visibility. You don't have the end-to-end. And that's the reason why, you know, I try to explain in this, and sometimes it's difficult. So the accuracy is when your system tells you have, but physically you also have. It tells me 2, but I'm seeing them 2 there. It's a false positive when your system tells you have 3, but you only have 2. I'm only seeing 2. But is there the third one somewhere here? The false negative is when the accounting system tells you have 2, but the physical stock I'm seeing 3. With RFID, which is literally creating a digital twin, this concept is still vague on the retailers. You are creating a digital twin when you stick a tag. So by doing that, on the false positive side of it, you are able to, you know, get out of stock situations. And on the false negative ones, this is a potential price markdown. Now, if we talk about quantities, this might be 1 or 2 or 3, but if we count about value and if we multiply, so just to put it as an example, this customer, they have 1,000 plus stores. They have 150,000 items at the sales floor. For the ones who are on the retail business, this is too much. They do in-store tagging since day 1. And when we start piloting, we started with 2 stores, then the results came up. We went to 5 stores, and then we went to 10 stores. And then I start talking to them like, we need to start talking about source tagging. And they came to me and said, we will never do source tagging. This company will never, ever do source tagging. 8 years after, they have less than 100 stores roll it out, because it's unsustainable to do in-store tagging for a store with 150,000 items. It's not possible. I mean, it's possible, but it will take years to roll out. So we try to mitigate this, and this is where, you know, the players of the market with knowledge. If you try to hire RFID people now, it's very difficult, It's very difficult. There's not too many people, or even there's not too many customers where you go and talk to, where they say, you don't need to explain me RFID, I have already done this. I was in the company X, and I moved to company Z, and I did this there and there. It's very rare. So it's still on an early stage, but it shouldn't be, because it's proven. We have been talking about this for 20 years or more. The end-to-end, it's the key. Source tagging, to start a source tagging project, it can take 2 years to implement it, because in the retail space, I mean, if I want to start source tagging, I need to have 2 seasons ahead. So only the items I will be selling by the end of 2027, those are the ones who will be source tagged. Because I need, the brand needs to manufacture the items, it needs to tag the items, so it takes time. Eh? So that's why, when we try to get the quick wins, which is the minimum results to prove a business case and the potential ROI for the future rollout, we start with this. It's what I call the one-day POC, to mitigate everything that customer hears about RFID, which is we focus on, the cycle count, or in the back room or in the sales floor, typically on the sales floor. And I'm telling the customer, I will do a cycle count against your stock on hand file. This is what your ERP system tells you have, and this is what I will be counting. And this is like 80% of the quick wins at the sales floor. And it's very easy. So this session is it's a one-day session where in the morning, together with my team, the professional services team, we do this step, cycle counting against a stock on hand file. We explore, we start the cycle count again, we give it the chance to the customer to do that, so that he can get a feeling. It's just not me talking. He will be seeing how easy it is to do a cycle count against a stock on hand file and get results. First step, you upload a product master file. Again, we don't do integrations. Even on a pilot that can take between 1 to 3 months, we avoid integrations. Integrations brings complexity, especially if you need to talk to IT. Then IT nowadays will start talking about cybersecurity, security, firewall. It's becoming a mess. Eh? I was an IT guy also for many, many years, managing a multinational company. So I know what I'm talking about. I avoid that. So manual uploads in an API-first solution is key. Uploading a product catalog, it's easy. Then we create a task which is uploading the stock on hand file. Again, this could look like rocket science. It's a CSV file with 3 fields. Eh? Easy. You get the site code, which is typically number 1, the product code, and the quantity. This is the information your system tells you have. We upload it, and then we start doing the cycle count, which is actually, again, very easy. It's an 8-step thing where you spend the most time on the step number 4, which is you are counting. You are just doing this. And you go and you touch the items, because if you have closed tags, it might not read. And you go there and you start counting. And you are counting. You can, in the meantime, see the categories. You can see the items, where they are, what's the info around it. And then you finally end it, and you get the results, what we call the discrepancy report. It's where we say, and here we are being very, very nice, because typically you have numbers here like -10, which again, you were expecting to count 7, you count 6, so you are missing an item. It means that on your sales floor, you should count 7, you only found 6. This is the basic. Eh? Again, no rocket science. I don't know why we are stuck in 20 years of doing this. Eh? No rocket science. But this brings 80% of the results that customers need to achieve stock accuracy. And from here, you can start to take actions. Eh? Actionable data. It's not anymore a tag and a reader. It's data. Eh? Those millions of data that Ralph was mentioning about. you approve the cycle count or you send it back. This is a feature that our solution has. You know, the store manager can say, I'm not happy with the 96% stock accuracy. You need to let me know what's going on at that store, because we were expecting 25 and you only count 24. So can you please search, make sure that you go to the corners. Is there any missing item there, any tag that is, you know, hidden or something like that? So you can send it back. You don't lose the work that you have done, and you can restart your cycle count. And then you get this is dummy data, of course, but you can have a sense of what's going on. And from here, you start already having a vision about what's going on at your stores. So again, you know, Marco, that's got to be somewhere here, from Bocci, he didn't need a presentation. Let me tell you why, because it's strategic for his company to do this. That's why he didn't need it 200 slides. He knows it, how important that is, right? So if it comes from the top, and one of our customers, it's here, the Biancorf guys, Bram and Jeff, we were just talking, and they were just saying, yes, we are working with them since March, and they were just saying, yes, we had to take this to the board, because it's the board who's going to say, yes, take it here like $1 million or $2 million to make this happen. But it's not a cost, it's an investment. When customers start talking about, can you give me a price? I said, to do what? We haven't talked about scope. What you are expecting? This is not a transactional sale, it's a consultancy sale. That's why we don't do selling, we do partnership with customers. Some of our customers that we are rolling out 2,000 stores worldwide, we are partnering with them since three years. This won't stop for the next 3. But it should be faster. For some reason, it's not being. So, Marco, don't forget the voucher for the store. I just mentioned you here. The Prague store that doesn't exist, okay, for the ones who haven't noticed. So, those are, you know, the results that this customer have 8 years after. This is actually data from 2024. This is something that we do, and customers have really difficulty on, you know, saying, okay, so how do I measure it? It's actually not complex. You need to get base numbers before your RFID life, and then after your RFID life. So the stock accuracy was not so bad, 80% compared to what we typically know. Now it's 99%. They did 2 annual countings per year with 50 staff and 8 hours. So now it's two times a month, and they are increasing it. This actually, it's one of the use cases that when you integrate your solution, means that you take the cycle count, you start integrating RFID at the POS, you know, you get the sense of you don't need to do so many cycle counts after a certain period of time. Because you have several reading points or control points, as Brent were mentioning. This makes sense. They also increase the speed of receiving, you know, from 2,000 items to staff of 3 hours. Again, daily 2,000 items, 1 staff and 1 hour. Again, if you do a blind receiving, it means that you are counting what you don't know. I'm receiving a box and I will be counting what I don't know. But if you do a guided receiving, it means that I will be counting what I am expecting. You integrate with your WMS system, so you know what you are expecting. And if you have issues, you can easily find them. Again, actionable data. Increased speed, sales speed with POS, 24 seconds per item, and 90 seconds per item, and of course, improving. This should be like much lower. again, it depends. If you integrate at the POS with at the UPC level, it's at the barcode level, you just take out a quantity. But if you do it at the EPC level, it's this jacket, this color, and this size specifically. It's the item level magic, if you want to call it. Huh? Efficiency, I mean, with RFID, they could have, you know, POS and 3 self-checkouts. They started with self-checkout at the barcode level many years ago. It didn't work, of course. And of course, you know, they could measure the customer satisfaction. They have 1,000+ stores. If they have done this in less than 100 stores, they know exactly where the benefits are, right? And they control that, you know. Customers are happy. If you don't have the items at your store, you won't sell. That's no doubt about it, okay? So this is what I typically do with customers, because customers tend to hear a lot about RFID, but the expectations are too high at the beginning. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying they are not right. Huh? What I'm saying is that to start the RFID journey, it's too much. Huh? And that's the reason setting expectations, it's key. Because then if you over-expect and the pilot don't bring the results you were expecting, then it's a failed pilot. And in reality, it failed because the expectations were just higher. Everything worked well. You were just expecting too much. For someone who has no knowledge on RFID, you know, there's so many things that you need to have in consideration: the tag selection, the tag placement, the hardware, the chip that you are using. We do tag testing when, for example, a pharmacy customer asks us to put a tag on items. We need to test. And now even it's even great because you have several types of tags. And you know, health, beauty, and cosmetic, 7 years ago, it was not possible to have a tag. No customer would accept a normal tag on an eye pencil. No way. The merchandising team would say, nope. Now it's possible. You have the thin tag. But again, when customers from health, beauty, and cosmetic come to me and say, look, we want to start the RFID journey on the exit systems. With a small tag, it's going to be a challenge. Are you sure? Won't you prefer to start on the inventory first, and then we can go after to the exit system, because the tag is very small. I'm not saying it won't work. What I'm saying is that we need to evaluate the physics around it. Huh? So I end up like this. This is all about setting the right expectations. But this should be actually faster, because we have been talking about this since 20 years. And let me tell you, since 20 years, it hasn't changed. The needs are the same. Stock accuracy as the core foundation of any RFID project. For inventory, I'm not talking about the Bosch case, etc. So thank you. I'm available to connect on LinkedIn, and if you have some questions, let me know. We can chat about that later on. Thank you so much.